Hello my loyal companions, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be going over my top 5 rogues that I think are going to help you win more games in solo queue. Obviously you guys know I've been doing the solo queue to rogue series here on the channel, and I've been using these rogues specifically in my rogue pool to help me win as many games as possible, and it's worked out really well so far, so I want to share to you exactly why I'm using them and what makes them so good. If you do go on to enjoy the video or you just want to see daily, educational, rogue company content, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel, but for now, let's get into it. Okay, so starting up at number 5 of this list is going to be Kestrel. A big key theme you'll see here in this video is that I'll be talking about rogues who have great pick potential in some way or another, and Kestrel definitely fits into this, whether it be using her bounce grenade or whether it be using her ultimate to flush somebody out of cover, or if they don't move from that cover, full kill them. She's got a really good set of kit that can help you get a good pick when you need to. Combine that then with the Radthar, which is a fantastic weapon for close, medium and long range, as long as you learn that recoil pattern. She's a pretty big beamer. She also has the stim shot to help with her survivability, and if you buy the resupply perk, which I don't normally recommend, but it is viable if you want it and have excess cash, which of course Kestrel's great at due to her passive, it does help you flush from kill to kill to kill by always resupplying that bounce grenade or that stim shot. Overall, I think Kestrel's got a great kit for solo queue. I think she's got great pick potential with that ability, and with that bounce nade, she's got a great weapon, and also her ability can kill more than one person. It actually can clutch up so many times as long as you learn the exact positioning of it. You can't tell you how many times I've got multi-kills with that thing, and honestly, when you're in solo queue and you're basically, in your mindset at least, got to be in a 1v4, being able to take that to a 1v2 by just using your ability is massive. And don't forget guys, because of the way that ability works, when you kill someone, you usually thirst to kill as well using the same ability, which is massive when they have some sort of revive mechanic within the game, such as Dali or Saint. Overall, Kestrel is loosely there in that 5th position for some of the best rogues to use in solo queue, and she's great if you particularly want to frag out to carry. Going then on to number 4 on this list is going to be Dallas. Now, Dallas is in number 4 rather than number 2 or even number 1, purely because of the requirement that you have to be very accurate with him. Dallas is all about accuracy, but his weapons are so good for that. If you can hit your headshots, the Devotion is a 2-tap, and the HRM is a 3-tap to the head. That is some of the fastest time to kill within the game, but that isn't all that makes him amazing. Dallas also has his ability Target Finder, which is his snap, which reveals the closest enemy to you, and with now the cloaked nerf being in place, meaning that anybody other than Lancer using her ability can be revealed, that information is so important. Being able to find one person, isolate them and pick them off, or simply just give information to yourself or your team about where the enemies are heading is so valuable, and nothing that can be underrated. Not to mention that when you apply his passive recharge, when you get a down, you get your ability back. It means you can snap from target to target to target to target so quickly and go through an entire team, and that's exactly what Dallas is used for. He really benefits when the enemy team are uncoordinated, because you can pick off people one at a time, and that's exactly what you need. Again, as long as you're accurate, that's the one stipulation. Combine that then with the fact he has padded steps and an Ascender grenade, I think he's in a really great spot. I think the padded steps allows you to go for a flank play style. You can play him up close range. You can use an axe, which I definitely recommend with Dallas for that closer range should you get into those engagements, as long as you're good with those melee weapons. But I generally like to play him on the flank. Not exclusively though, and that's the thing I like, and what you'll see with some of this list is I like rogues who can be playing with the team and have great use, great damage, great pick potential, but then also have the ability to play on the flank, and that is what padded steps allows. The particular benefit of Dallas on the flank is that when you know that the enemy team are all over, say, on A site, and you're flanking from the B site, when you get that snap, you know if somebody is waiting for your flank, and you can pick them off using your incendiary grenade, flush them out of their hidey spot, and then get the kill really easily, get another snap and then move forward. Or simply, you know if you're safe and clear to move through that location and get a really great flank off. That is why I particularly like Dallas, why I think he's so strong. And again, if you're accurate with him, it's almost impossible to outgun a good Dallas. Now going on to rogue number 3, and this is going to be Vi. Defenders and supports in this game for me tend to be very anti-solo queue. I don't like Anvil, I do not like Trench, I really don't like Trench, and I don't like Saint for solo queue. The reason for this is because when it comes down to it, they don't generally have good offensive utility that will help them. Yes, Saint has the C4, but that's really more of a defensive piece of utility for when they push you. What Vi has though is the ability and the amount of utility to be aggressive. So yes, you can play Vi very safe, hold them off a position, or you can play kind of aggressive, look for picks, flush people out of position using the incendiary grenade or using your vibe poisons, force them to move and then shoot them then. Not only that, but she has the Nightshade, which is one of the best guns in the game. If you are good with that and you put good time into learning it, it can absolutely beam and you win most fights. It acts as an AR/SMG, and that combination is so valuable when you're in something like solo queue where the ranges and the enemies can differ. Sometimes you're fighting up close, sometimes you're fighting at range. It's not like you're there with a team that you have in comms that you can say, hey, you handle long range engagements, I'm going to sit in this close range. Honestly, when you're trying to 1v4 up in solo queue, having a weapon that can battle on many different ranges is very, very good. I also love Vi's perk set with tracker rounds. I don't tend to use replenish, but it is viable if you have a lot of excess money. With tenacity, though that is being changed to bounce back again, I don't think that's that much of an issue. I think it'll still be a valuable perk with bounce back and helping hand should your teammates go down. I think she has a great perk set, but I also think that her passive, being able to gain an additional 25 health and permanently reduce the health of enemies using her poison, is so valuable in solo queue. If you can just give your team any advantage or yourself any advantage by gaining extra health or taking health away from enemies, that just puts your teammates and yourself in such a better position to try something. And in solo queue, you literally need every point of damage and every point of impact and advantage you can get. And Vi allows you to do that permanently. Whereas if you say play Phantom, you get a snipe off and you hit them for 70, they're going to regen that. It may take longer with her passive, but they're still going to be able to get their health back. With Vi, you can actually have game-long impact throughout the entirety of the round. Taking up the number 2 spot then is going to be Talon, another intel rogue who plays very similar to Dallas, but has a different kind of set of perks and equipment and weapons that allow him to do things slightly differently. With the big thing about Dallas being that he has such great intel, that is the exact same thing that translates to Talon. It's slightly different, of course. Dallas can reveal anybody on the map in his closest proximity, and Talon has to be a bit more specific. But when you use that dart and you get so used to that dart, what you'll learn is that you can move it really quickly, scan areas, scan important areas, and be able to move through the map really quickly. He again has padded steps, meaning you can play that flank style or you can play up close and aggressive with the team. It doesn't really matter. You can adapt with Talon. That's again what I like. And a part of that is also due to his weapons. Personally, I do not like the Deadeye, the DMR. It's actually really good, and if you're good with it and you practice with it, go for it. It can be a great weapon. For me personally, I like the LMPX. The LMPX, very similar to the Nightshade, is a good weapon at close and mid range, and when you get the full upgrades on it, it can absolutely beam at long range as well. It's a very versatile SMG, and that's exactly what you need. He also has tenacity, which will just help your survivability a little bit more, but key, he has life drain. And life drain in a 1v4 solo queue situation is so important. It means you can go from target to target to target really easily. Then if you get onto his equipment, he has a flashbang and a C4, which offers both aggressive pushing by flashing your enemies and then pushing them out, and defensive in the C4 for if they push you. And so many times that C4 has come in clutch for me in a defensive scenario and the flashbang for an aggressive scenario. And that's why I love Talon, because he can just be so versatile in the way he plays. And he's great girl survivability and duelist potential. Talon really has it all, and that is why he's so high up on this list in second. I really think he's valuable. I really think if you can master the dart and how to use it, he's absolutely great and moving into these sort of games. The other thing with Talon, and something that is very specific and rarely happens but can be so amazing, is the ability to reclaim the bomb. When you're on attack and your teammates get the bomb, they will not give it to you, and then they go die on the other side of the map, having Talon to be able to use his mag gloves to reclaim that bomb from range, as you're seeing right on screen now, is so good. I can't tell you how useful that particular clutch scenario can be by taking the bomb away from a defensive lineup who are just guarding it and being able to go plant on the other side by using the range of mag gloves. It is so underrated, and remember, it's something you need to be using when you're in game. Before we get onto the last pick and the top pick for what rogues use in solo queue, I want to give a few honourable mentions. Dahlia is someone I can never sleep on. I love Dahlia to pieces, and I think she's just a little bit out of place right now. I think the MXR is not in a great state. I think the Executioner is probably even a better option paired with the Objection, but even then, the Objection isn't the best gun in a lot of situations. Dahlia also falls into a supportive playstyle, which means you do have to kind of rely on your team, whatever rogues they pick, and also being there to revive them. Whilst that can be so useful because revives are so good, I prefer to have someone with a little bit more clutch potential in themselves. She has the grenade, she has the smoke, which are great pieces of utility, but personally, whilst I think Dahlia is so good, generally and can, in the right situation, be played in solo queue, it's better to opt for one of these harder carries that I've mentioned. And the sort of scenario that I would use Dahlia is if there was something like a trench on the enemy team. Honestly, that would be pretty much the only one, is if there was a trench, because you want those double nades, that's double the pick potential with the lethal equipment. That's kind of what I would say for Dahlia. I'd say if there's a trench, she's potentially worth it, but if there's not, it may not be. Also, as an honorable mention, is going to be Lancer. I love Lancer to pieces as well, and a lot of you guys like Lancer as well. She's the strikeout queen. Nobody can get through her team as quickly and as effectively as Lancer, with the roll reload, with the silent footsteps behind them, and has such great flank potential. But realistically, in solo queue, flanking is so risky, and it's why the two people I've mentioned are good at flanking, Talon and Dallas. I say you can still play with the team. The only issue is Lancer is not as good with the team. She benefits from that flank. She benefits from having her ultimate popped and getting behind people and finding the right timing. And in solo queue, what I find most of the time is my team are dead before I get to pull that off. And therefore, I don't like leaving them alone and would rather have somebody who has a little bit more clutch potential than Lancer and can stay with the team if needed. That being said though, she is absolutely incredible, and if your team are halfway competent and say you play the first half, you're like, you know what, my team can hold their own, I can probably put off a flank on this map, then maybe opt for Lancer. She is still incredible. She still can completely solo carry a game. She's just not the one I would rely on necessarily for winning your solo queue games. The final honorable mention is going to be Phantom, but not with the sniper. Whilst those of you who are cracked with the sniper can get great picks of that sniper, go for it. But personally, I'd recommend you guys use the Nightshade and the sticky sensors. The sticky sensors are so good. Again, it comes into that intel playstyle, like Talon, like Dallas, being able to reveal enemies guard positions without actually having to look at it specifically is so useful. And again, the Nightshade, similar to Vi, is a beamer. She also has a frag grenade, grievous wounds, which helps delay their health regen, meaning you can push the enemy before they have healed while you have healed in a trade and get that advantage off. I think Phantom has a really good spot. I use her on Glacier, I use her on Lockdown all the time, and honestly, she's great on Lockdown for playing inside B site with her sticky sensor. But generally, I don't think she's the best rig necessarily for solo queue. She can have a great place though if you're good with her, so it's why she's an honorable mention. She's definitely someone worth trying out in certain maps and certain situations, but not one of the top 5 I would rely on. By the way, the update should be coming out really soon, bringing us Seeker, and as for Seeker's place within the game, I think Seeker will probably replace Kestrel in this top 5 list, but I'll bring you more of that when he comes out and get you more information about it. Okay then guys, so on to the first pick. No surprise, I'm sure, for me, as it always has been, is going to be Ronin. Ronin is just incredible. Not only is she immune to Talon, who is one of the other top picks here on this solo queue list, she also just has such great potential. She has the frag grenade for long range picks. She has the smoke grenade for blocking off lines of sight so you can push an area without fear of being shot from somewhere else. She has the Ronin knife dart, which can kill anybody if you direct impact it with 250 damage, but also she has it so you can just kill anybody by throwing it on the ground and shooting it, as long as they don't have tenacity. And with tenacity being weakened, whilst that won't really affect Ronin's knife, it will be nice nonetheless. She just has great pick potential and 2 great weapons in the SLC for close range and the K30 for mid to close range, as a bit of long range as well if you can beam with it. I just think she has so much potential. I think she is so slept on. And I think if you are a good Ronin, you can absolutely solo carry games just with her. Her gunplay is really, really nice. Her utility is really nice. Her perk set is great with Replenish, with tenacity, with tracker rounds, with even nimble hands if you don't want to get replenish. She has great utility, in the katana as well for melee throws is always great. Ronin I will always vouch as one of the best rogues in the game, at least in her current state. And I think for me personally, if I am like, okay, what do I play here? What is going to be good for me? Ronin is always a great fallback. She fits into literally every single team comp. She is not team comp reliant. She does not necessarily, as I say, do one thing amazingly, but she does everything well, and that is what you need in solo. You need someone who is consistent, and Ronin follows that adaptable, consistent route so well. Okay then guys, that takes us to the end of the video, and if you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. You can also come follow me on twitch.tv/RADTHARGAMING to see live gameplay commentaries, guides, Q&As, and playing with viewers. All the links you're going to need are down in the description below, but for now, I hope you have a fantastic day. And remember, be loyal, be brave, be relentless, and I'll catch you in the next video.